Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the moon in conjunct the ascendant in a natal chart. Now, first off, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in a natal chart. They're a little bit concise, and some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do is make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is if you have the moon in conjunct the ascendant in a natal chart, there may be an adjustment, which is the inconjunct, may be needed between the emotional needs, which is the moon, and new beginnings, which is the ascendant. It might be where one or more may be overemphasized. There may be times when you're just so dominated by your emotional needs and what you feel comfortable with, your comfort zone, which is the moon, and it may deprive you of making starting new projects and endeavors. Or what could happen too is that you could be so dominated by new beginnings, it could be to the expense of your emotional needs. Now, the thing is, let's say if you have the ascendant, in Capricorn, new beginnings may be connected with government, political work. It may simply be career ambitions. It could be doing something, Capricorn related, whether it could be something with architecture, construction, um, information technology, dentistry, accounting, timekeeping, some management position. And keep in mind, let's say, for example, if you have, this inconjunct and you have Gemini and Capricorn involved in it, you have a strong disparity in that energy naturally, because Gemini is about, versatility, diversifying, doing many different things, where Capricorn energy is more structured, consistent, and is more about, focusing and concentrating on one thing. Now, another thing about this aspect is that it could indicate at times, you may exceptionally show that you care, which is the moon, about making that good first impression, which is the ascendant, on others. And other times you may just simply be apathetic about and not worried at all, not having any care or concern in doing so. If the ascendant is in Virgo, as an example, that first impression may be tied in. It could be about, just, being scrupulous and, meticulous with details, punctual, reliable, verbose, being analytical, being able to analyze things, just generally proper, and those, there may be times when you would exceptionally care about them, and other times you just be like, well, no, I'm not worried about this at all. So now another thing about this is that if you have the moon in conjunct the ascendant in a natal chart, another way it may manifest could be where you may vacillate between strongly expressing, the emotions, which is the moon, and other times you just may, be completely, averse to, expressing your emotions outwardly, I should say. The ascendant is what we project outwardly. The moon, of course, is connected, with the emotions. Now, if you have the moon in Scorpio, say, those emotions, may be, tied in, with just, I should say, emotions may be very powerful and intense, but yet, could be convoluted at times as well. And, Gemini, moon in Gemini could be very manifold emotions and feelings, of expression. So, there may be times where you really strongly, will let the emotions out, and other times it just may be where you're just completely, averse to doing so. Now, there may be another way that this aspect may be expressed in a natal chart is that at times you may have abundance of energy and vitality, which is the ascendant, to attain the emotional needs, which is the moon. Then other times you may have none whatsoever, and you may feel your energy is just like zapped in terms of trying to do so. Now, Let's say, if your moon is in the zodiac sign Cancer, as an example, those emotional needs may be tied in with cooking, culinary, restaurant work. It may simply be things connected with your home, your family, introversion, attaining safety and security. It could also be, doing something Cancerian related, whether, it could be something with real estate, home renovation or remodeling, home caregiving, interior decoration. Let's say if the moon is in Libra, as another example, those emotional needs may be tied in with relationships or marriage, cooperation, being able to compromise, finding balance. It could be doing something with the law, something connected with the legal field, or art or beauty, being attractive, or something associated with arbitration, negotiation, as some examples. Now, another way that this aspect may be expressed in the natal chart is that there may be a strong imbalance in terms of expressing your unconscious side, the inner personality, which is the moon, and the outer demeanor. It could be where there may be times where there may be a lot of fluctuation in terms of expressing the unconscious side strongly and not enough of the ascendant, or the other way around. And the key, with inconjuncts, of course, is to find balance and equilibrium between the two energies. If you have your ascendant in Taurus, that outer demeanor, you may be one, that's very stolid, stable, reliable, loyal, trustworthy, persistent, patient, persevering. If you have your ascendant, say, in Scorpio, that outer demeanor may be one that's very passionate, intense, resourceful, resilient, probing, incisive, as another example. And another thing, too, is that there may be times where you exceptionally care, which is the moon, for the environment, which is the ascendant. Then other times you just may be oblivious and just completely apathetic regarding this. Let's say if you have your ascendant in Aries, the environment may be one where it could be aggressive, it may be somewhat combative, but a lot of activity. If you have your ascendant in Taurus, it may be more of a peaceful, tranquil, stable, kind of environment. Pisces can be one, which may be very ideal, to you, one that you may have, fantasized about, as some examples. But there may be, at times again where you may just, really strongly care for the environment. Other times it could be, not whatsoever. So now another thing too about the moon inconjunct the ascendant in the natal chart, as far as how it may manifest in the natal chart, there could be an imbalance of activities that are connected with moon-related people and those that are prominent in your early childhood and a grandparent, which is the ascendant. And when I'm talking about moon-related people, I'm referring naturally to people, home family members, the mother, people you're close to home with. It could be, people that are in, some kind of moon-related field. It could be like people that are in, restaurants or cooking or real estate, as some examples. And let's say if you have, your ascendant, say it's in Sagittarius, as an example, people prominent in your early childhood and a grandparent, one or more, may actually be a Sagittarius sun, moon, or ascendant person, or embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be people that are jocular, jovial, philosophical, religious, expansive, optimistic. It could also be tactless and reckless and very blunt as well. So, in another way that this aspect may pan out in natal chart, at times you may be either, very, responsive, which is the moon, to those people, people that are prominent in your early childhood and a grandparent, which is the ascendant. Then other times you just may not, you may go through periods where you just don't really respond to, their needs. whatsoever. The ascendant, say is in Pisces, people prominent in early childhood and a grandparent, maybe Pisces, sun, moon, or ascendant people, or simply embody the traits of the sign. It could be people that are very forgiving, compassionate, sacrificing, idealistic, altruistic, sensitive, and emotional, as an example. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.